the invisible fortress protecting your soul in a chaotic world. Do you ever feel as though your mind is a house with no doors? Every piece of news, every passing comment, and every stranger's mood seems to wander into your living room and sit on your couch. You find yourself reacting to everything, exhausted by a world that demands your attention but gives nothing in return. We are living in an era of total accessibility, where our inner peace is constantly under siege. But what if I told you that you possess the power to build a fortress that no army can conquer and no noise can penetrate? Consider the story of a man named Marcus. Marcus was a scribe in a bustling, ancient city. His life was governed by the demands of others. He lived in a small room above a noisy market, and his days were filled with the chaotic energy of shouting merchants and clattering wagons. Marcus was a sensitive soul. He felt the anger of the crowd, the anxiety of his clients, and the weight of the city's endless worries. He felt porous, like a sponge soaking up every drop of bitterness the world had to offer. He was drowning in the lives of others, forgetting how to live his own. One day, Marcus sought out an old mentor who lived in a quiet olive grove outside the city walls. He found the old man sitting in the shade reading a scroll while the wind rustled the silver leaves above him. "Master," Marcus said, his hands trembling, "I am exhausted. The world is too loud, and I have no place to hide. My soul is bruised by the chaos. How do I find peace when the world will not be quiet?" The old man looked at Marcus and then picked up a handful of dry sand from the path. He squeezed his fist tight, but the sand leaked through his fingers until his palm was nearly empty. Then he picked up a smooth, round stone. He held it loosely in his open hand. "Marcus," he said, "your mind is like the open hand. You try to grasp at the sand of the world, and in doing so you let the world slip into every crack of your being. You think you need to build a stone wall around your house to find peace. But a stone wall can be climbed, and it can be broken. The only fortress that truly protects the soul is the invisible fortress of your own perception." This is the core of Stoicism. The ancient Stoics believed that the world is a chaotic theater, but the stage is not your home. Your home is your mind, your internal kingdom. Most of our suffering comes from a fundamental error. We believe that for us to be at peace, the world must be peaceful. We wait for the traffic to stop, for the boss to be kind, and for the news to be good. But the world owes us no such silence. To be free, you must stop being a victim of the external and become the sovereign of the internal. To build your invisible fortress, you must first master the gate of detachment. This does not mean being cold or unfeeling. It means understanding the dichotomy of control. There are things that belong to you and things that belong to the world. Other people's opinions, the weather, the past, and the future. These are external. They are the dust of the market. Your judgments, your values, and your reactions. These are your own. They are the stones of your fortress, the old man told Marcus. When a man shouts at you in the street, he is throwing a spear. If you have no fortress, the spear hits your heart. But if you realize that his anger is his problem, not yours, the spear hits the wall of your fortress and falls harmlessly to the ground. You see the spear, but you do not feel its point. This is the power of the observer. This is the practice of resilience. Resilience is not about being tough in the way that iron is tough. Iron can be shattered. True resilience is being like the air. When someone strikes at it, their hand passes through, hitting nothing. By choosing how you perceive an event, you decide whether it has the power to hurt you. If you decide that a comment is just a vibration of air, it cannot touch your soul. You are safe behind the walls of your own wisdom. The second pillar of the fortress is silence. In our modern world, we are afraid of the quiet. We fill every gap with noise, podcasts, music, scrolling. We do this because we are afraid to be alone with the contents of our own fortress. But a fortress that is never cleaned becomes a prison. You must spend time every day in total stillness. Close the gates, pull up the drawbridge. In that silence, you find your own voice again. You realize that you are not the chaos you see, you are the space in which the chaos is witnessed. Marcus began to practice this. He returned to his room above the market, but he no longer left his windows open to every sound. When the merchant shouted, he noticed the noise. But he told himself, "This is the sound of the world. It is not the sound of my soul." He practiced the sacred minute, taking 60 seconds every hour to breathe and remind himself that he was the master of his own internal space. Slowly, the city began to lose its power. The wagons still clattered, and the clients were still demanding. But Marcus stayed centered. He was like a deep well in the middle of a desert. The surface might be hot and dusty, but the water deep below was cool and clear. He had built his invisible fortress. As you go through your day, remember that you are the architect of your own peace. You do not need to move to the mountains to find tranquility. You do not need the world to change for you to be happy. You only need to realize where your power lies. When you feel overwhelmed, stop and visualize your fortress. See the thick walls of your wisdom. See the iron gates of your focus. Know that nothing can enter unless you invite it in. Your peace is a choice. Your soul is a sanctuary. Keep your fortress strong, keep your perception clear, and you will find that even in the heart of the storm, you are safe, you are whole, and you are free.